Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse an unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
And I see the robin.
I'm just searching for equality, looking for some reason, no violence, no apologies. But I do want opportunity, hard work, it ain't new to me.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Rach Da Gem, and we are back for another episode of Melanin Boulevard. This week we have an amazing guest, Mr. James Peteet, on the line. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. About yourself?
Good, thanks. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come on the show.
Of course, anytime.
So he's all the way in Maryland, stuck in the rain. I'm in Vegas, where it doesn't rain. So, you just got to choose your battles, right?
Look, it must be nice.
No, we need the rain. So I want to talk about your card game and kind of your journey on the path to getting to the point that you are today. James has a card game named CoupleUp. So could you tell us a little bit about that game?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, my name is James Peteet. I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland, 27-year entrepreneur. And I got my my foot in the door by starting CoupleUp LLC, which encompasses my CoupleUp card game, which is a game I created to see how well you know your significant other. And it touches on a couple things that we, particularly as millennials, we don't like to talk about, whether it be finances, communication, love languages, your character, your morals, those really important conversations that don't get talked about until later in the relationship. I try to put that on the table immediately because, again, we wait for things to come out later in people when we could find it out right then and there. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to save them time. Everyone has had that kind of horror story where they've dealt with a guy or a girl for years on end just to find out they really ain't shit. When I really could have found this out way earlier had I asked the right questions. But again, we wait so long. We don't want to hear the answer. We don't want to argue, things of that nature. So it started as a get to know you kind of game, but then it kind of spun into let me see if we're compatible first and foremost before I make them my girlfriend or my boyfriend, or to make them the husband or the wife. So most people use it as a tool before they truly get coupled up. They have to play the CoupleUp card game and see if their partner passes that test.
I really like that. We don't be asking the right questions, or we might be hesitant, or we might feel like we need to give people maybe the benefit of the doubt or not be judgmental. And I think asking the right questions to find out the information you need is not judgmental. That is, that's like your filtering system. You got to filter these people out. Why do you think people are so hesitant with, our community when it comes to getting in relationships, so hesitant with talking about things like finance?
Because things hurt to hear when they don't match what you already think. So let's take finances. If you're cool with spending money for my fellas, because most of us do this, I'm spending on the designer Gucci or the Jordans or whatever. When you meet a lady and she's like, that's not it. Like, that's not how we build wealth. It kind of hurts your ego. Like, that's what I thought a man was supposed to be. We're supposed to spend all this money, look flash and all that stuff. So when your actual thoughts don't really manifest in the woman that you see, it kind of hurts. So now you're like, I don't want to talk about money. Or, of course, the man's supposed to make the most money. If he meets a woman that makes more to him, he feels inferior. So, again, you may not want to talk about those kind of things. But what I've learned, especially just getting older, those are things that real adults care about. Like, we care about people that can budget very well. We care about people that can express their emotions. Like, when we're younger, I get it. We're still kids. We're kind of iffy on how to really go about certain conversations. But as we get older, we had to learn to just dive head first in those things, because that's how you create a long-lasting, healthy relationship. Keeping things bottled in does not do either of us any good, because relationships are just like any other kind of investment. Like, you're putting your time, your energy, your resources into this person. So you want to do your due diligence in knowing that person inside and out as much as possible. So, it's just some kind of stigma that, we'll find out later. I say find out now, deal with it as best as you can. But in our community, it's crazy. I see so many people, they'll be dating for 3-5 years. Now the kid comes around, you're pregnant. Now the kid comes around. Now you're discussing schools, parenting styles. Like, I get all that out the way now.
Yeah.
If people that are, let's say, super religious, if I'm a Christian and my girlfriend practices some other religion, I don't want to find that out when we already have a child, because I want my child to be raised in a certain household. But you're completely opposite. So we had to have that conversation beforehand. You know, some people are just, some things are like non-negotiables.
Yeah.
That's the thing we had to talk about. Like we just kind of go into relationships saying, well, I'll take whatever's given to me. If you take whatever's given, they're going to give you whatever it is. I don't think you should go into any relationship like that. Going in with your foot on the ground, like, this is what I cannot do. This is what I will and will not do. And relationships would be a lot better off if we did those kind of things.
Yeah, I think these are skills that are necessary to teach the younger generation, is knowing what questions to ask, even if it's not a romantic relationship, even with dealing with friendship, because a lot of kids get themselves in positions where they are around kids that, you know, get them in trouble, or, you know, so I think learning how to filter out people is so important to know from young. That leads into business relationships, you know, knowing the questions to ask these people in order for it to be fair on both ends. So I think that's very important. So as far as like your background, how did you come up with this concept? Do you have a background in relationship counseling? What you know?
At all. At all. I'm a regular 27-year-old from Prince George's County. I do have a girlfriend of 2 years and 7 months. I gotta make sure I get it right all the time.
She gonna get you.
Look, absolutely. She gonna see this too. But no deep relationship background, not a coach or anything. But the game came about from a podcast I was listening to back in 2018. And there was 2 girls that made a board game about family relationships. And I thought it was cool, you know, a slight little game. But I said I could really flip this game and make it much more intimate, make it much more beneficial, because I like to learn while I have fun. I think that's just how people are wired, especially like little kids.
Yeah.
Kids, they're not having fun, they're not learning. I think adults are somewhat the same way for the most part. So I said, if I can, and I struggle with conversation myself, by the way. So I said, let me make a way so I don't feel so weird about starting a conversation with my girlfriend, whether it be about finances, trust, communication, whatever the case may be. So I made a card game out of it. It's the most easily accessible thing we all have in our homes. Like, whenever you go to someone's house, it's like, what games you got? So it's very easy accessible, and I just made it fun. I got 4 separate categories: complete me cards, what if cards, what are your favorite X, Y, and Z cards, and scenarios. So I hit all the points. I got to see whether you know me enough to complete my sentences. Had to know what you would do in certain scenarios. And of course, we have our favorites, you know, X, Y, and Z. But I go beyond the what's your favorite color, what's your favorite dessert. I'm talking about what's your favorite way to relieve stress. What's your favorite way to calm someone down? How do you comfort someone? Those things we don't really think about until the situation presents itself. So the game is super self-reflecting in a sense. And like I said, I wouldn't have came up with that concept had I not listened to that podcast, and then just started thinking, like, how can I make this more for me and my age group and make it community based? Because again, we don't do that, especially us millennials. We rather text everything, you know. I'm like, nah, we gotta have, you know, like more face-to-face conversation, at least over the phone. But this whole texting thing is not gonna work. You don't build relationships like that through social media and through texting.
Yeah, I think it takes like kind of the awkward out of like those first initial dates, and even the awkward out of these conversations. It's a great icebreaker. So I think that's amazing. And we've kind of seen like the card games take a little rise. We've seen new card games, Black Card Revoke, and all of these different card games. So I think you're right on time with what you're doing. So how the process go to create this game? How did you start that process?
It was super difficult because there's no manual on how to start a card game. You know, I was Googling for at least 2 weeks before I just decided to wing it and say, you know what, I think this will work. Let me do it. I was constantly looking for, you know, how do you make a prototype? Is a prototype necessary? How long do you play test? So I kind of just, you know, just winging it. You know, I cut some construction paper, wrote the questions down. I drew my little fake me out stick figure logo, and I gave it to my friends at work. We played it at work. And at the beginning, it was like super, super basic questions. Like, I didn't have the intimate ones like I do now, but I wanted them to understand the concept. And it's like, yo, if you put some more time into this, like, again, dig a little deeper, just observe the world and see what people go through, and just ask yourself, what would you do in that situation? What kind of options could you lay out for people? And they're like, you got to hit. So I've been working on it crazy. My girlfriend helped me, of course, all kind of family, friends, mentors, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's really just through trial and error. Like I said, not a lot of information on how to do it, but that's also why I created my first ebook, Tabletop Creations, how to create your first profitable card game. Because again, we all go into business to make money. We want the change, but ultimately, if it's just a business that don't make money, it's more of a hobby, in my opinion.
I agree.
So, right. So I created that to help people like myself, like I wish that I had. So just quick little Google searches. You create your theme, you write everything down, you prototype, you play test, and ultimately you go to the manufacturing side. Like the 5 steps, super simple. And again, they can grab that at CoupleUpGame.com. They can grab the ebook. But yeah, I really wish I had a mentor to guide me through it because I lost a lot of money. Just little stupid things. I'm like, yeah, it's just a lot of little design issues. But first and foremost, I'm going to say, if you're not a graphic designer, please go hire someone to do it. Don't be like me and think you a Photoshop expert and just have yourself looking crazy. But again, that's how you lose money. Like you need someone to tell you, hey, get someone that does X, Y, and Z, can use this kind of software. Get you someone that specializes in game test. Well, like what things to look for when you're testing for a card game. Know to feed the audience a little bit, but don't hover over them too much. Break the game down in the most simplistic form. Like I want you to play the game without me explaining it. Because when I first made the game, the instructions were too drawn out. I had people calling me and text me like, this step 5 don't make sense. I'm like, but to me it does. But if you just go up what you think, I gotta test the audience. I'm not the one playing, my audience plays it. So I need to test it with them, see what they say.
Yeah.
And that's another thing as business owners, we're so kind of like Eric about, I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yeah.
We had to learn to take critique from other people, especially our customer base.
Yep. I mean, that's the best place to get the critique from. How long was your testing phase? Like, how long did you send out your prototypes and have people play it and get feedback?
So honestly, I only tested for about maybe a month and a half, maybe. And again, that's what also I think I feel short. I think I should have did a lot more, before I released the final I see now, it's some little things the game could have been better at. But people love the game. Like, no one really has an issue with it. But personally, I see, like, I could have did something a little different here. But I rushed because I wanted to get the product out there. And I'm not mad for people that want to get stuff out. It doesn't have to be perfect. But, it still got to be a solid product, But I would have taken a little more time doing a little more prototyping, fixing a couple little things. But it's out there. The next batch will be my perfect vision, what I had for the game.
I think it's great that you did go through trial and error so that you can offer something to someone else going down the same path so they don't make the same mistake. So somebody had to do it and it just happened to be you. So I think it's great that you even want to give that information out because a lot of people will hold on to it and say, well, I had to figure it out on my own. So, now you go deal with it.
And we got to stop that mentality. Again, like I said, I want to prepare future generations of kids to do this. Like, we all own our own card games. Whenever I tell someone, they say, what black person creates a card game? Then I tell them about Black Card Revolt. Sister named something Callaway. She created this game called Rhyme Antics. So I look at all these black people, like, black people make card and board games.
Yeah.
We just don't know who they are. They're not speaking a lot. And that just may not be their character, but I will. I'll go talk to anybody about the process, step by step. This is how you do it. Save yourself some money. Just grab the ebook. Just talk to me. I will get you through this. But we had to stop holding the game from people, like, because that's when they go and tell you, black people are selfish or, they want to charge all this money for this information. I'm like, you can find gems. You just got to find the people that are willing to give the gems to you.
Right. I think when you give that information, you can get so much more back. So it's kind of like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because you're only going to get back so much more. So I was watching one of your videos on your Instagram page, and you were talking about kind of the different stages. Like, you have stage 1. If you make it through stage 1, now we can go to second level. Can you explain those stages?
Oh yeah, so that's the most recent one. So, like I said, you start at the CoupleUp, the regular game that we have. So we talk about the finances, the trust, the communication, those super basic things. You get through those questions, your partner makes it, you can move on to stage 2. Stage 2 is, I have the revolutionary stage. So obviously with the times that we're going in right now with the riots and the George Floyd situation, we've been going through this forever. Yeah. But of course it's super prevalent right now. I noticed a lot of my friends weren't really as down with the cause as I thought they were. So it just began. I just had to start questioning, like, who are the people that I'm around with when it comes to, political science or revolutionary acts? Like, who can I count on to really be down for us as Black people?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are that kind of Black person that cares about Black people, you want to make sure your partner's on that same mindset. So I created the Who You With pack, which is essentially a revolutionary pack. Social issues. What do you feel about certain things? So that's the stage 2, because you got to have someone that's going to have your back throughout times like this.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the sexual healing pack. Those are all the fun sex questions everybody likes. I definitely don't want, even when I go talk to teenagers, young girls and young boys, like, you don't just give yourself sexually to anybody.
Right.
Like, that is something that is a jewel, it's a prize to you. Like, they have to earn that. That's the stage, in my opinion. Even when my niece gets older, I'm going to give her that whole speech too. Like,
yeah.
Look, you better not let no random dude, like, he has to be worthy of that. And you set that standard. So that's how I kind of had those stages.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because my last episode, my guest was not liked very much by people, but I was trying to say, men also, there are men out there that also hold themselves at a value where they're not giving their body to everyone. He did not agree with that. So I'm actually glad you said that, because just like we have that talk with little girls saying, hey, you don't just go out there and give your body to people, you cherish your body. We should be giving that same talk to the boys too.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you said that, because that kind of supports my, what I think about that. So these stages, yeah.
I'm sorry, we're just not taught. We're taught to just go hit everything that moves, and I'm glad you said so. Now my nephew gotta get that talk too, but I think his dad gonna do that. He's like real hands on with him. But no, very true. I definitely would like to stress that to the young fellas as well. You don't just go sticking it in any girl that you see that just because she look good.
Right.
Again, like, it's not always worth it at the end. Like, you want to give that part of yourself to someone that is worthy of it.
Right.
And only you set that.
Exactly. And, just also kind of trying to explain to him that it's more than just a physical exchange. There's energetic ties that are included in that. And he wasn't hearing me. So,
and I would say to that man, like, he might not have found that right one. Like, and I get what he's saying. Like, we've all had, some kind of sexual encounter where it may have been just physical. But when you find that right person, like, you just feel different. Mm-hmm. It's like, nah, this is something that we're on a whole different plane, physically, mentally, spiritually, as well as physically, of course. But I would just say you got to find that right one where all that is going to hit at once you realize, like, you know what, this is a gift. Like, only she's going to receive this, or only he's going to receive this. Yeah. Because they are worthy of that.
Definitely. So all the stages that you kind of went over, are they available in that same box, or is it 4 separate games? Or
so it's all one game. So the CoupleUp game by itself has 120 cards. Okay. The sex pack and the Who You With pack are expansion packs that I made. Because some people, they just want the regular game. They not with all the sex questions, which I noticed sex don't mean a lot to a lot of people. I thought sex was like super important in a relationship, but I met a lot of people that it's like, it is what it is. We have when we have it. So those kind of people, they may not need the sex pack, but they're super, pro-Black, revolutionary, all that. So they grab the revolutionary pack like crazy. Yeah. So it's just extra cards you can add to the deck. It makes for a lot more fun conversation, and the game is definitely it's more fun when it's in groups, but it's more intimate when it's just you and your significant other. Is what I've noticed when I'm talking to people or just watching them play the game. But in any environment you can play, you, your best friend, your man. I've had kids play with their parents, just to see how well they know each other. Mine's success questions, because that is kind of weird. But,
yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that one, Mom.
Right.
So you have the standard pack, the CoupleUp pack, and then you have the expansion packs. Yep. I just lost my train of thought, but have you seen a difference in your sales because it has been a shutdown?
Yeah, so I saw it was definitely a surge in the beginning of COVID when that started happening. And then it slowed down once the riots and stuff started. And I was kind of confused at first. I'm like, I thought it was my marketing. I thought I did something wrong, but I'm like, you know what? People ain't focusing on that. We're focusing on getting justice for our people. So I completely understood that. And that's another thing I want to throw a little tidbit to entrepreneurs out there. You can't make everyone buy your product. You can't determine whether or not they're going to buy it. What you can determine is the amount of work that you put in to get that said client or customer.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was struggling with, because I was thinking, you know, that I know the game is dope.
Yeah.
I know I'm conveying the message in a great way. Why aren't they buying? I was kind of like the carry out, hurry up and buy. Like, what's going on? But I had to realize, like, just relax and just keep doing the work, and they will come. We're going through a pandemic. Yeah. Black people are getting slaughtered left and right. Buying a car game ain't really on the top of everyone's mind. You got to understand that. So I said, you know what, let me take a step back. Obviously, I care more about my people than this game. You know, so let's focus on that. And then when things simmer down, if they ever do, then, you know, we'll get back to business as usual.
As far as how marketing goes and people not paying attention, another factor also takes place is the algorithm, because social media wants to promote what it wants to promote. And so that, you know, people shouldn't get discouraged when there's a huge event that happens and they see a decline in their views or in their sales, because the algorithm kind of takes over from there and they're trying to like push what they feel is important. So that also makes a huge difference. Not that just people aren't focused on that and not paying attention, but the algorithm, if you're promoting on like social media, also makes a huge difference. So just, you know, just that. So I want to ask a question for the people who get your game, right? And they're on step 1, date number 3. They're like, hey, let's play this game. And they start getting questions and they're like, I don't like that answer. What do we do? Cut it off?
I just say,
cut the game off?
No. Definitely don't turn the game off. You assess the situation. I say, okay, well, I ain't really like that. Well, have the conversation first. That's the whole point of the game, is to talk about your differences. So if you don't like what I say about that, we'll ask the number one question, which is why. Why do you think this way? I give my response, and you take it from there. You know, if it's just something too crazy, again, a non-negotiable that you just cannot deal with, then it's like, all right, cool. Well, this been good. I'll take my check, please. You know, whatever you want to do to exit it. But most of the time that doesn't happen. People, they play the game throughout, and it's 120 questions. You don't get through all of them in one sitting. But more often than not, it's just it's an introductory into that person. But the conversations that come from it span all over the place. So I'm not going to say just give up on the person immediately, unless it's one of your, you know, strict non-negotiables. Yeah.
Somebody like me would be like, interesting.
Yeah, and you just keep that back in the mind. Like, all right,
that to the left.
If these answers don't change, then we out.
So when it comes to like non-negotiables, what if people don't know? Where do they start?
If they don't know the non-negotiables, I think that takes a talk with yourself. No one else can tell you what your non-negotiables are. Again, that's why I say the game is super self-reflective. When you get that kind of question, just simply ask yourself, like, what things do I not like? Like, if my husband came home and did this, or my boyfriend came home and did this, how angry would I be? Like, how quick would I be to put a stop to this? That's probably one of your non-negotiables, things that you can't stand. Like, I can't stand people with bad manners. If you have horrible manners, we're not even friends. We're not associates. We're not nothing. Yeah. You know, I got another friend, kind of similar like me. She hates people that don't value time. They're always late for everything.
Seriously.
Being a military child, you know, early is on time, you're late if you're on time, that kind of thing. So I'm like that in a sense. But again, if you were just on that just color people time, as we say, which I try to get rid of that too. I don't like that anyway. But if you're one of them people, they may not rock with you, because that's one of their non-negotiables. You have to be on time or early for things. Yeah. So it just takes a good look within yourself. And I say journal. I journal all the time now. And I just started probably earlier this year at the age of 27. There's so much about myself I just did not know. And I sit in my thoughts, I just write stuff down. And then I'll just talk to my girlfriend, parents about it, whoever. You know, we'll just talk. You know, do you think this? Or, you know, especially with my parents, like, did anything happen in our childhood that maybe that's the reason why? Because we don't understand how our childhood affects our current relationships right now.
So much. Like,
me and my girl just had that talk, and she asked me, like, how you comfort someone? And as I was describing it, she was like, you're not describing comfort, you're describing being concerned. Because I never really got comforted as a child. My parents were concerned about me, but I never got that, you're going to be okay. Everything. I never got that. I just got to, all right, cool, on to the next one. You know, it's like, just keep it moving. So our childhood definitely affects our current relationships, but we don't take time to evaluate that and see maybe why did this happen and how can I change that, it's going to stay the same.
Yeah, definitely. I like this game because it does also help you look within to figure out, like, what do you really want in life? What are you willing to take? What are you looking for within a relationship? And also reflect on your past to see, like, this is why I think like this. Or let me work on my communication skills, or let me be more sympathetic to people's feelings. So I think it's great for also self-reflection. I play by myself, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and some people do. I thought that was weird at first. I'm like, that ain't the point. But then again, I realized like this game is super self-reflecting.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So what does this game mean to your legacy?
Oh, to my legacy. So this is, when I do have the children, when they get old and I'm like 65, like, let me tell you the story. It all started with a game. This is the start of my my wealth building journey. So this on top of, I do want to own rental property. I want to make more card games about meaningful subjects. So this one's about relationship building. My next one will be about financial literacy.
Nice.
I want to put on clinics and seminars on communication mistakes, because I think that's like the one thing that just ruins relationships. Like we just don't want to talk things out and we just assume so much. So if I can help bridge that gap, I think a lot more relationships would last a lot longer.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
this is definitely just the start of the wealth building process that I'm trying to get, because I want to pass things down to my kids. So I want CoupleUp to be a household name, a Uno, Monopoly, whatever other card games are out there. I want CoupleUp to be that. I want to pass that down to my kids. Like, yo, run this thing until it burns out. Then I'm gonna pass your sister something. I'm gonna pass your other brother something. Like, I just want to keep passing things. So I had to build everything up right now, so they don't have to, go beg a corporation for a job. Nothing against jobs at all, but I've definitely realized I can't work in a job for too long. I'm kind of over it now. I'm more the, on the Dame Dash type time. Just work for yourself.
Yep.
Hustle, and again, I'll do all the hard work now so my kids can reap the benefits later. Like, nothing I do is for me right now.
Yeah.
I'm good. I need to make sure they are straight. And then their kids, my grandkids.
Yeah.
I want it to be generational, like the Henry Fords and whatever other multi-billionaire families that are running around in the world. Like, I want to be one of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's amazing. So how do you see the game evolving? Because you want longevity. And although we have like the Uno games, Uno really has ran that game over and over and over. Like nothing much has changed. They've added like little elements, but pretty much the game is the same. And Uno's been around for I don't even know how long. I'm 33 and
they just like things out now. Like, they'll take Disney characters and put it on the car, stuff like that. At a certain point, I think the game is going to be what it is. The original will always be there. Yeah. I'll probably maybe add a new design, different types of cards. So instead of just the questions, maybe I had challenge cards. Like, I'll be some kind of innovative way to make the game more interactive. I'm currently working on an app. Of course, everything's going digital now, so the app was definitely the next best step. But at a certain point, I do understand the game is going to be what it is. I'm not going to run into the ground like Uno. I don't want it to be, like a movie. What's the movie with the cars that's got like 20 of them now? I don't know what.
Fast and Furious.
Yes, Fast and Furious. I'm like, it's over.
Yeah.
Like the movie still makes money. If people rewatching this stuff, I don't want to put a couple of them to the ground where it's like, all right, now it's getting annoying. Like, I don't want that. So I want to go out on top. Just keep it where it's at. When I do hit that level, and like just let it rock out that way. But we're definitely gonna have expansion packs. I might make it a board game again, like it was intended. It was intended to be a board game. Okay. But money and all that other stuff, I said, let me just make it a card game. So the finances get right where I can make it the board game, make it what I really wanted it to be.
What do you want people to get most out of the game and seeing your journey?
I want them to get the fear out of your head that you can't talk to your partner about whatever. Like, get that fear that they're going to judge you. Especially my fellas, we definitely don't want to go open up to our girls. We think they're going to call us, weak or whatever the case may be. Or our friends may clown us for being too sensitive or emotional. But it's like, we go crazy in the head from doing that kind of stuff. Yep. Not saying the women don't either, but I know a lot of men personally that go crazy because they just feel like they can't go to their woman. Right. It's not that they really can't. They just don't want to for fear of thinking they'll be seen some kind of way. Right. So overall, I just want people to to get that fear out of their head of having the conversation. Have the tough ones and the ones that actually matter. You know, from my journey, I just want you to see that anyone can do it. Like, I know it sounds cliche, but if you surround yourself with the right people and you offer value, and just be genuine, be your unapologetic self. I see a lot of people trying to be like their favorite Instagram model or their favorite Instagram coach, but it's like, it's hard being somebody else.
Yeah.
I know, because I tried it. I tried to speak like other people. But it's like, that ain't me. Like, this is me.
Yeah.
Very loose, free flowing, kind of say what I want, you know. So anyone can do it as long as you offer that value and stay true to your message. Your product or service is not for everybody.
Right.
Stay true to your niche, your market, and you'll be fine.
Yep. I think that's like a huge takeaway for entrepreneurs is don't try to sell to everybody. Figure out who your target market is and just run it. Because there's people who just, sell to 5-year-olds, for example, and they're millionaires, so it's so important not to try to sell. You're going to run yourself ragged trying to sell to everybody, and you're not going to come out, that successful. You can be more successful with focusing on people who actually will care about your product. So could you tell everyone where they can find you, where they can buy the game?
Absolutely. So you can buy the game at CoupleUpGame.com. Also follow me on Instagram at CoupleUp Card Game. The link is right there in the bio. Send me a DM. If you don't read, I send it to you like that. So of course, all the products on there, we have the CoupleUp Card Game. We have the sex pack, the Who You With pack. We also have a sex box, my sexual healing box. Shout out to Marvin Gaye. And it's the card game. It's the sexual healing pack. And I got some handcuffs and some blindfolds. Because people was like, yo, I need some toys to go with this sex pack. I'm like, well, I don't want to put no toys in there per se, but I'm going to give you something slight, you know what I'm saying? So I threw that in there for them. And of course, they can grab the tabletop creation game, how to create your own profitable card game. Because I want more productive games. Nothing against the drinking games, but it's like we can make drinking games out of anything.
You can.
I kind of want those educational games that are also entertaining at the same time.
Yeah. I love
that's
it.
what
I love the idea. I love the concept. I love the elements that it offers, the values. It doesn't just offer you that relationship, journey, but it also gives you the opportunity to look within. So I really like that because people need to fix themselves before they try to get linked up with somebody else and then cause damage. So that's so important that people know what they're looking for and know themselves.
Yep, got nobody so.
So make sure you guys follow him. I do want to thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're in your car in the rain. We don't want to hold you up.
It's all good. I appreciate you for allowing me on this platform. Like, shout out to you.
Thank you. So make sure you guys follow him at CoupleUp. Was the Instagram name?
Yeah, Instagram at CoupleUp Card Game, and the website is CoupleUpGame.com.
Make sure you follow. Make sure you support this Black business. And while we're still shut down because quarantine and COVID is still happening, get you a game to play. So make sure you do that. Make sure you tune into Melanin Boulevard. Don't forget to tell your friends, to tell their friends, and maybe we could be friends to tune in every Thursday.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. All right.